What is going on, guys? It's Stab, and today we got the team builder for week 1 of a new league that the Sacred Fire have joined, which of course is the GBL, which I think stands for the Global Battle League. It's a league I joined to get some practice before the NPL kicks off, which actually is just in a few days, so I have to get ready for that as well. Anyway, this is team builder for week 1. We are taking on Corey and the Carolina Caterpies, I think is his team. It's pretty nice to battle Corey just because he is one of the people in the league that has the most league experience. So whenever you're on equal footing, it's always a good time. It's because I was unable to get graphics for my draft analysis. You guys have no idea what my team is, but it will be popping up there on the second as well as on the side later in the video. But there's a little sheet with my team, and I'll keep Corey's team during the builder. But I was able to get a pretty solid team. There were some things that were allowed that were not necessarily taken but are pretty new in the form of being allowed in draft league, and those would be things like Genesect, Aegislash, Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile and Aegislash had restrictions in the fact that Mega Mawile could not have Sucker Punch and Aegislash could not have King's Shield, which I'm pretty sure kind of influenced their not being taken overall. But I was able to draft a solid team. None of those broken lords. Oh yeah, and Metagross is yet allowed in another league for some reason that nobody will ever be able to explain. But anyway, I was able to take Victini, Kyurem Black, Togekiss, Tangrowth, Crocodile, Aselgor, Zebstrika, Lucario, Doublade, regular Mawile, and Mega Blastoise. Kind of going into there, I really wanted to take Mega Blastoise, and I built a pretty solid team around that. As you see, my team is sort of weak to ground, but we will remedy that in a further week down the road. But very solid team overall. I was really happy with it, and we should be able to build pretty competitive teams and play very well this season with it. Corey has a very solid team too. His is more broken than mine, and it will be popping up right next to this in the video, but not a little preview part that you guys will only see half of. So the Carolina Caterpies, like I mentioned, have a very, very good squad. Mega Venusaur, Volcanion, Salamence, Downfan, Rotom Heat, Meloetta, Miltank, Genesect, there's the Genesect right there, Archeops, Empoleon, and their mascot Caterpie. Now, as you see, I have color coded their lineup for this week. Green are the mons that I expect him to bring. No doubt they will be there. Yellow is the ones that I prep pretty heavily for, but there was a chance he might not bring them, and red are things that I think he would not bring for one reason or another. So as you can see from the little sheet there, we are expecting Mega Venusaur, Volcanion, Rotom Heat, the Miltank, the Genesect, and the Empoleon. We also think there's a chance he might be able to bring the Salamence and the Meloetta, as they do put a decent amount of work in our team. Several things you'll notice is that he does have a very powerful Fire, Water, Grass core in the Mega Venusaur, the Volcanion, and the Mega Venusaur, Volcanion, and the well, actually, Mega Venusaur and Volcanion basically filmed their own core, so not even counting the Rotom. He also, when I was going into prep, another thing that I kind of had to be wary of is that he has about 3 or 4 legitimate Pokemon that could be Choice Scarf, as well as 5 overall, those being the Volcanion, if you want to do that, the Scarf Salamence, that is a pretty big obvious Scarfer. Rotom Heat can be Scarfed. Meloetta, you could Scarf that if you want to, and Scarf Genesect as well. Without further ado, we're going to flip over to the team builder, and we're going to see how we prepared for the squad today and what kind of things we were able to do. And I will see you guys in about 3 seconds for you. Alright guys, welcome to the team builder. I am so excited to bring you guys this. I haven't done one of these in a long time. So, up top you can see the 6 mods we selected for Corey and the Carolina Caterpies. So leading off with the Lord, the first overall pick for the Sacred Fire this season, Mr. Kyurem. Now Kyurem generally bodies all of his team. I'll go over the moves in a second, but as we go down the line, you'll see that it hits literally everything on the team super effectively with one move or another, sometimes with both moves. But yes, and it's also our best answer offensively to Volcanion and Mega Venusaur, as it does carry the Terrible ability, which ignores Mega Venusaur's thick bat, so Ice Beam kills it. Yeah. Moves wise, we are carrying Ice Beam, Earth Power, Hidden Power Fire, and Focus Blast. And like I said, let's just go down the line. Mega Venusaur, Ice Beam, Volcanion, Earth Power, Salamence, Ice Beam, Donphan, Ice Beam, Donphan Sturdy, gets negated by Terravolt, so it'll die. Rotom Heat, Ice Beam, Rotom Heat, not Ice Beam, Earth Power, Meloetta, Ice Beam, Miltank, Focus Blast, Genesect, Hidden Power Fire, Empoleon, Focus Blast, Archeops, Focus Blast, not Focus Blast, well, actually Focus Blast or Ice Beam, and then Caterpie, Ice Beam. Like I said, I don't expect him to bring Caterpie at all, but you never know. He might sack the game to us for no reason. But Ice Beam, it's the main stab. Like I said, like I showed you guys, it hits basically the whole team. Because of my spread, which you guys will see in a second, I am able to at minimum kill every single variant of Mega Venusaur, so it's not standing up to us. Earth Power, secondary move, like I said, hits Volcanion and ignores Rotom Heat's Levitate with the Terravolt ability, so we can knock that out as well. As far as Volcanions go, if it's running max HP, it will die after rocks. If for some reason he's running like a full modest max special attack, max speed, it actually has a very high chance to just straight Oko, and then all Volcanions die after rocks or to get KO'd. I really don't want to take a hit from Volcanion just because it's really powerful, but we can knock it out pretty easily. Like I said, if it's taking rocks damage from a switch in. Venusaur, if it's Sleep Powder variant, that's pretty much the only thing I'm worried about. But as far as that, you'll see down the road, we do have something for that. Focus Blast, like I said, hits Miltank. It's pretty much our best thing to hit Miltank. Miltank, I'm expecting to be sort of a mixed defense, like maybe 128 EVs in special defense, but it'll go down to 2 of them if it's carrying that. If it's fully physical, it pretty much dies. Empoleon, we can use Focus Blast to hit that as well in case it's a Shuka Berry variant, as I do have several ground types and mods that get Earthquake coverage. But yeah, for Miltank, I did have on here that it needs to be almost fully Spadef to guarantee to live. Fully defensive, it will die. Mixed defenses, it needs around 144 in Spadef to have a chance to live from full health. So it's still not a very good option to that. And also, if he runs a very specially defensive Miltank, Victini, which you see over there, will kind of just run through his team. Empoleon, yeah, it guaranteed 2 KOs, even up like a max, so max HP, max special defense Calm variant will still die. And then Hidden Power Fire kills basically any variant of Genesect. Like, it kills 4 Genesects if he doesn't have any bulk investment. If you see Alcabear, he will die. So pretty much Kyurem is going to be a very good win con for the Sacred Fire this game. As far as the nature goes, Modest was just needed to. We are fully specially offensive. We don't need any of Kyurem's physical attacks. Bolt Strike would help against Empoleon, but really it doesn't help against anybody else. But yeah, we have pretty much maxed special attack in there just to hit as hard as possible. The 240 in speed allows us to outspeed a timid Mega Venusaur. That was really the fastest thing we could hit without investing any speed, because his team is either really fast or is either really fast, scarfed, or slow. So that was just the optimal speed tier that we could hit, and then we're running 240 instead of 236 because of the drop from the Hidden Power Fire, which allows us to invest another EV just to hit that same speed. Secondly, when I was building this team, we didn't have a lot for a Genesect, especially a Scarf variant. It kind of got the download boost and then blew through our team. So actually the counter, and I use that term lightly because it really isn't, as I will tell you guys about how the calc went down with the Mawile right here. But yeah, this is Mawile. We are carrying an Intimidate Akaberry variant with Stealth Rock, Fire Fang, Toxic, and Play Rough. Now, Akaberry is so we can take a Flamethrower from a Genesect. If it is a Scarf variant, even from a download boost, we will live at full, and we can get off a Fire Fang unless it burns us, which would be very unfortunate. But it actually does 99% max. So unless he's like Modest, he can't kill us, and we can get at least a hit off on him. Yeah. So like I said, purpose is get up rocks. Also with his team, you can see that he has a lot of things that are weak to rocks. He has a lot of things that we need chip damage for. We also can get a good damage, especially if he leads with Genesect. We fire off Fire Fang, guarantee live, get off a big hit. It's a 2-hit KO, even with that little attack investment that we have right there. And then it's a potential stop to a late game Scarf Mence that's locked into Outrage. We can come in and hit it with a player, or at least hit it down to the point where something like a Crocodile couldn't come in and revenge it. Like I said, Stealth Wreck is very important in this game. It gets chip damage on his bulkier things, the Genesect and the Venusaur. It puts Volcanion in range of Kyurem's Earth Power. It puts Rotom in range of the Stone Edge from Crocodile. It cripples Mence, and it forces free switches through removal. So what that means is he's got several ways to remove hazards on his team. He has the Rapid Spin out Donphan, and he has the Defog on Empoleon, but every time he has to go for one of those moves, we can get a switch in and capitalize on him. Basically, we force him to waste a turn removing the hazards, which, because his team is very weak to it. Like I said, on offense, Genesect, Fire Fang is actually guaranteed OHKO. If it's any other variant, it just gets pretty solid damage. Play Rough is our stab, and it's super effective against the Mence should we need to take that down if it's a Scarf variant, and it just hits generally most of his team for good damage. Like I said, I'm not looking for a very big offensive output on the Mawile, just a little bit of niche support. The last move, I really didn't know what to put. Sucker Punch could have been there, but really we didn't need to get a hit off on anything else priority-wise. So I decided on Toxic. Toxic can wear down things like the Volcanion if he wants to come in on the switch, or we can Toxic Miltank because that shouldn't be able to do very much to us. Yeah, but as far as the spread goes, the Nature Adamant was just with 156 attack. They guaranteed it to be a 2-hit KO on a random bulky Genesect, and it allowed us to get as much damage as possible while still having the bulk to take some hits. We do have 100 in Spit Def to guarantee live a download boosted Flamethrower from full, but at the same time, he's getting the special attack raise because we invested in Spit Def. If you guys don't know how download works, it gives the download Pokemon a boost based on which of the opponent's stats is higher. So because the Spit Def is higher than because the defense is higher than Spit Def right now, we give it a special attack raise, which is kind of unfortunate, but it kind of needed to happen at the same time. So thirdly, we needed something to check or counter his immense amount of Scarf choices. So we decided on our own Scarf Pokemon, which is our Scarf Crocodile here. Scarf Moxie, Choice Scarf Moxie with the moves Earthquake, Stone Edge, Knockoff, and Superpower. Now, the reason for this, like I said, is to make sure we have a Scarfer to at least decently match up well. If the right conditions are met, we can potentially Moxie sweep him, but that's not looking like a very good choice just because his main potential Scarfers will be faster than Crocodile anyway, so that's not really a situation to rely on too much. Moves wise, we got Earthquake. Earthquake is just good stab. It hits most of his team pretty hard. It guarantees a +1 kill on Crocodile, on Empoleon, unless he's carrying the Sugar Bear. Then he's not really worth it. We can just hit it with a Superpower down the road. It also has a guarantee. It has a good chance to OHKO max HP Volcanion after rocks. Offensive will die after rocks on. The offensive Volcanion will again die after rocks. So we can get rid of it that way. Obviously, we're not going to switch Crocodile in because Steam Eruption is what makes Volcanion the most dangerous. If you guys didn't know, for some reason, I know I've got a lot of new subscribers lately, so they might not be as familiar with the draft format as some of the other ones, but basically Steam Eruption has the same power as Hydro Pump with the Scald chance to burn, so pretty broken, pretty spammable in league formats. So Volcanion is definitely a threat to watch out for. Now, second move on here, we got Stone Edge. Edgequake pretty much handles most of his team. We can't really get any OHKOs with it, but it just covers anything that he might have. Now, it guaranteed kills a offensive Salamence after rocks, and I think even a bulky one just dies. It has a 70% chance to kill an offensive Archops. Could he bring that? Like I said, I don't think he will, but if we do encounter that, we are at least prepared for it. Yeah, so an offensive variant dies, so that's good. So after it kills offensive Rotom after rocks. Like I said, if I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but basically within the specific sets of the Pokemon I mentioned a few minutes ago, as far as what I think he would bring, I do expect an offensive variant of Rotom. Now, be that Choice Scarf or like a Life Orb variant or just an offensively invested one in general. I do expect if Rotom comes, it will be an offensive Rotom as opposed to just a defensive Will-O-Wisp one. He might carry Will-O-Wisp just because I do have a lot of physical attackers, but it will be more offensively based. A defensive Rotom does have a small chance to live, but if I get rocks up, that pretty much negates that. Knockoff doesn't really hit anything hard other than the Meloetta, but it is just a great utility, especially with knocking the leftovers off his walls, and the immense amount of Scarfers he could bring, like, has me really afraid, guys. I mean, this is going to be a tough game regardless, but any Choice Scarf that we can get off of Mon can do really well, just because some of our later guys are fast enough, mainly Victini in that sense, but Victini is faster than all the Scarfers without their Scarf on, so barring the Salamence, of course. But if we can get rid of the Scarf, Victini can put in a lot of work. Superpower was the last move. I didn't really need Pursuit, and I didn't really have any other coverage move that I really wanted. Superpower was the best move to hit Miltank, and there's no reason to risk Earthquake versus Empoleon should it be a Shuka Berry variant. Nature-wise, I am bringing Jolly just to make sure that we can match well with his Scarfers. We are carrying enough EVs-wise. We are carrying max attack just to hit as hard as possible while maintaining our Jolly speed boosting nature. We do have 208 EVs to outspeed a timid Scarf Rotom, so that should be a good time to hit that. Like I said, if it switches into rocks, regardless if it's a Scarf, we outspeed it. We can knock it out with a Stonish, as long as Crook is wearing his glasses and is able to hit it, of course. Now, I'm really excited about this next one. Now, the set isn't very innovative, but we are getting to use Mega Blastoise. I really, guys, I'm looking forward to using this in the format. I feel like it has very good bulk, it has very good offenses, and it has an amazing move pool and a great ability to take advantage of it. It says Torrent right there, but when it Mega Evolves, it becomes Mega Launcher. And if you guys didn't know, Mega Launcher grants a 1.5 times boost to moves such as any of the pulses, anything that's a spear, anything that's a ball. But basically, that boost means that any move that Blastoise can use that takes advantage of that is now a stab move power-wise. So that's a really nice niche thing that pretty much only Mega Blastoise and Clauncher have. So not a very common ability, but a very good ability when you are able to use something that has it. This game, Blastoise will function mainly as a reliable spinner. Most of the things that actually set up Hazard on his team, being the Donphan, the Miltank, I think that's it. You can run Stealth Rocks on Volcanion if you want, but you kind of sacrifice a slot if you choose to do that. But Blastoise can get huge hits off on that 1v1 to kind of deter them from either setting up rocks or setting them up again after I've spun them away. It has really strong special offense. So you see right there, base 135, max invested, that it hits 405. That's a ton of attack and really just hits things hard. It adds bulk to the team, which, if you can see right now, at least the first couple we went over, we don't really have a lot of dedicated defense in this game, just because Corey's team is very offensive, and we can use that to our advantage. But Blastoise, with its investment, will be very helpful in that regard. Now, moves-wise, we already went over on Kyurem how weak to Ice Beam his team is, so I figured there was no reason not to carry it on Blastoise as well, especially since Blastoise actually has more attack than Kyurem. So, like I said, it kills our job. It kills any variant of Mence after rocks. So I mean, those are the two that we're looking to kill with this thing mostly. Rapid spin, like I went over. Um, it removes the hazards that he might set up. He only really has stealth rock, which is really nice. We don't have to worry about spike stack or T spikes, especially because we don't have any cleric on this team, so that could get out of hand very quickly. And like I said, because Blastoise can hit back against those setters super effectively for the most part, it's going to make it very hard for him to get the rocks back up once he has them spun away. Now, you might see that I'm not carrying a water move. I'm carrying ORAS Spear. Now, the reason I'm not carrying water move is I need this to switch into Volcanion, but I also need a way to hit Volcanion, at least for neutral damage. So I can't risk him water absorbing my Scalds. Granted, Scald will be good for things like the Miltank and the Salamence to get burns, but it's just not something I feel comfortable with doing in this game. ORAS Spear does over half the offensive Volcanion. No Spadef Miltank dies. So, like I said, if he chooses to bring a specially defensive Miltank, which doesn't have a good matchup against my team overall, we can just click ORAS Spear against it with Blastoise and kill it right off the bat. Mixed needs, again, a lot of Spadef to even to guarantee live. So 136 this time, which is quite a lot. If you're adding the math and you're realizing that he carries max HP and then has to devote that much to special defense when his physical defense is higher. Also, like I mentioned for Kiram, I believe it was, that if he chooses to go the specially defensive route, he loses options to take on my Victini very well, especially if it is a banded variant. So Miltank, max, so max special defense, max HP Miltank still takes around 68% minimum, and any variant of Empoleon, which I think he would only bring a special defensive variant if he brings it at all, would be 2-hit KO'd regardless of its spread. The last move, I could have brought Dark Pulse to hit the Meloetta, but that was really the only thing it did. Plus, I like the fact that Toxic can A, word on the Miltank, and B, we can switch into Volcanion, because like I said, Mega Blastoise is one of our only switch-ins to Volcanion, and we can get off a Toxic to at least put that thing on a timer so it doesn't massacre our team, which it could very well do just because I don't really have any other Steam Eruption switch-ins. Now, Nature, Mega Blastoise is really slow. I mean, base 78 is actually not that slow if you're only trying to outspeed walls, but it's not really worth investing all the time. Plus, we can just go with a modest nature because we'll very rarely be running physical attacks on this thing. So, modest to maximize our attack output. EVs, like I said, no speed necessary. Any of his slow things like Donphan and not Miltank, but like Donphan, I guess Caterpie, and even Volcania. Like, there's no reason to run any speed because, like, there's really slow things we already outspeed, and it would just cost too many EVs to try and outspeed something like a mid-speed Volcanion or even a Miltank running no speed at all. Because if you guys didn't know, Miltank is actually base 100 speed, which means it's as fast as Victini, max invested, which of course you would never do, but just for the fact that minimally it is still very, very fast when you're trying to outspeed with something slow like Blastoise. And 56, so the rest is going to get HP and special defense. Now, I could have gone with physical defense just to give me something to hit, to take on the, like a Salamence or something a little bit better. But most of the things like Venusaur and Rotom Heat already have ways to hit Blastoise really hard. And I guess another reason I didn't bring Dark Pulse for the Meloetta is Meloetta can just carry Thunderbolt and get off a huge hit. But we do have 200 EVs in HP for overall bulk and 50 in the remaining 50 specs in Spadef just to take on a Volcanion a little bit better. So, next to last, Pokemon number 5, lucky number 5, is the Zebra. Mr. Zebra, Mr. Zebstrika. Now, guys, Zebstrika is terrible. I kind of want to get rid of this thing just because it's really fast. It's either with a base 116, which is faster than like Pokemon like Raikou. So, has really nice speed, has decent coverage, but the thing is, these offenses aren't very good. He doesn't really have it's not really to my advantage to run an offensive variant of these, in the sense that it doesn't hit very hard for what it is. So most electric types hit pretty hard, especially from the special side. You see 100 base attack, but the thing is, it doesn't get very good physical moves, so it lacks the move pool to kind of abuse its good offenses. And then secondly, base 63 in both defenses with a 75 base HP is really, really frail. We will hopefully be remedying that in the coming weeks. I have a Pokemon in mind. I just hope that I can get it and claim it before somebody else does. But yeah, so I guess getting into it, we are carrying a Life Orb variant just to maximize the offensive output we have with this Zebra here. Sap Sipper ability, which I'll explain in a minute. And then as far as moves, we have Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power, Water, and Flame Charge. Now, it provides a lot of speed. It can outspeed basically his entire non-Scarf team, which is nice. And then it's really our only thing to straight up outspeed a max speed Jolly Archop. So that's kind of a very good thing there. Also, it's a very solid answer to Volcanion offensively, and we get some momentum with the Volt Switch just because his only ground type is Donphan, which he may not even bring to this match. The ability, I flip-flopped between Sap Sipper and the electric one, Lightning Rod, that's what it is, quite often, just because on one hand, Sap Sipper stopped Mega Venusaur from being a Sleep Powder variant, or at least a turret from going for it. Granted, our only physical attack to take advantage of the boost is Flame Charge, but I just felt that he would get bored, / it wasn't really relevant for him to waste repeated turns clicking the Sleep Powder if he knew I had a Sap Sipper and Substrike to switch in. But at the same time, two things that kind of deterred me from this and going for the Lightning Rod were A, I could switch into coverage moves aimed at Blastoise, and B, even if I switch into the Venusaur and dodge the Sleep Powder, I don't have anything to hit it back because its Thick Fat will make Flame Charge doing nothing, and plus we're running a negative nature with no investment, so it already doesn't do anything. And pretty much all I could do is Volt Switch against it, and he could just double Sleep Powder and get something else. So really, Zebstrika is pretty much here this game to fire off some hits on things like I just tried to call it Vaporeon, so Vaporeon and Poleon mixed together makes Vaporeon. If you guys have a picture of that, you can leave it in the comments. But yeah, so basically we can fire off some Volt Switch momentum, we can hit the Empoleon for some decent damage, and mainly this is our offensive check to a Volcanion. Now we can't take any hits, so it's pretty much going to have to be in range for Thunderbolt to kill, which as you're going to see isn't that much, but it is something that we need to kind of deal with. Volt Switch, like I said, we get solid pivot momentum to get something else in. It's pretty spammable just because he only has the Donphan that's immune to it. Get some solid chip damage on Empoleon, like I mentioned, and then we can get Volcanion in range of Thunderbolt with Volt Switch. So Thunderbolt actually kills No Bulk Volk. So No Bulk Volk, again, being a speed invested with max special attack. I don't know why he would run max speed against my team, but like I said, I've never played any of these people before. I don't know how they think, how they play, so it's kind of a blind crapshoot as far as week one, at least. When I go through the battles and watch them, I'll kind of get a better idea how everyone plays and what their strategies are. But like I said, I don't know anybody, so we just gotta go in blind for week one at least. It does 78 minimum to max HP variants of Volcanion, and like I say, guys, when I say max HP, I literally mean 252 in HP, so he could run definitely less bulk than that. Kills Archops, pretty much any. Archops is really frail, so pretty much I click Thunderbolt, it does, and then actually 2 kills Empoleon, even a especially defensive area. Now, Hidden Power of Water is really interesting. I could have run Hidden Power Ice for the Salamence in case it wanted to come in on Zebstrika, but I think he would know that I would have Hidden Power Ice, and also I wanted something that could hit the Donphan and the Rotom for chip damage. Now, granted, hitting the Rotom would have been a better strategy had I had the Lightning Rod, because it would have forced him to go for an overheat and got something for free because of the drop. And then Donphan like clicks Earthquake and kills me. So pretty much what I'm trying to explain in this game is Zebstrika is there to hit the things that can hit the Empoleon and the Volcanion, and pretty much the last two moves are not relevant just because he can't really do anything else this game. Our last move is Flame Charge. It's only a physical move. Genesect is so weak to fire that even with a negative nature, we easily knock this thing out. The thing that's gonna worry me as far as calling Zebstrika a good answer to Genesect is because if it's not Scarfed, we outspeed great. He can't knock us out with extreme speed. He'll do a lot, especially if he's attack invested, but he can't knock us out, and we can just click Flame Charge. Also, we have a chance to potentially hit him with Flame Charge. If for some reason he lives, like I said, I don't think he will, we can get the speed boost and outspeed him the next turn, but that's really the only thing Flame Charge does. And like I said, if he's Scarfed, he clicks an attack and we die. Like, I think even a U-turn does like 70 min, so not really the best answer again. Nature, we're running Timid for as max speed as possible. We need the speed in the 208 in speed to outspeed a jolly max speed Archops. Like I said, I don't think he would bring a offensive variant. If he does, good on him, but if he brings it at all, I think it would be more of a sash lead to like taunt my Mawile, or I don't know, my Krookodile, or anything of that sort, and then maybe get up his own rocks. But I don't think he would bring an offensive variant. But just in case we had the speed to do that, max invested in special attack just to hit as hard as possible. Like I said, with Zebstrika, that's not very hard, just in general, and the remaining will be in a little bit of bulk, so 40 in HP and then a little bit in each defensive category. Now, we're winding down to the wire, and we're saving the best for last. This is going to be the general win con this week. Like I said, another one that with very, very good coverage. Corey's team is very susceptible to the right coverage, especially mons that get a lot of coverage to choose from, like Mega Blastoise and Kyurem and Victini, as you see here. Now, hold on 1 second. Alright, so yeah, Victini, like I said, good all-around attacker. Coverage hits most of his team super effectively. That's the other thing. We're running Expert Belt this week, which Expert Belt does a little bit less than Life Orb, but it gets it, or it might be the same as Life Orb. I gotta check that, I'm not sure. But anyway, on super effective hits, we get a boost, which is really nice because we do hit most of his team, if not all of it, super effectively with the moves that we do have. So, V-Create, as you'll notice, the rest of my moves are special, being V-Create, Glaciate, Psychic, and Focus Blast. But the reason I needed V-Create was I needed something to hit hard. V-Create is just a nuke. Pretty much something comes in, we click V-Create, and we nuke things and kill them. Blue Flare would have been nice. We could have gotten a burn, but at the same time, Mellow What If was a Soul Fest, could eat it up, and then Miltank again could have gotten burned, but I still think that it mixed defense. V-Create actually hit harder, and then this thing obviously destroys Genesect. Like, we click this thing and it dies. The other cool thing about that is, I'll get to that in the spread in a minute, but we actually outspeed a Genesect naturally, so that's nice. Glaciate is pretty big. Mainly it's there for the Salamence, but it can also lower the speed of any of his Scarfers. So things like Scarf, Rotom, although we don't really have anything to hit Rotom, but Scarf Rotom, Scarf Salamence, even if it somehow lives, which it can't, because I'll get to in a minute. I keep getting ahead of myself. Like, I want to explain the attacks, but I also want to keep the spread in the dark for just a little bit longer. But yeah, so we have Glaciate for mainly Salamence, but it can also lower the speed of his Scarfers, because every time you hit a Pokemon with Glaciate, it actually just lowers the speed one stage, so it gets it back to neutral. And because Victini outspeeds the majority, if not all, of his team unboosted, it's a very nice attack to have. Psychic is a nice special stab. It 2-hit kills any variant of Venusaur, and like I said, it hits a lot of his team neutrally, so we can just fire off that attack on switch-ins and things like that. Then lastly, we have Focus Blast. We could have had Thunderbolt, but Thunderbolt Yes, Thunderbolt could have hit Volcanion, but at the same time, like Empoleon kind of Empoleon doesn't take as much from Thunderbolt as it does from Focus Blast, and I also didn't want to invite in the Miltank. That was basically the big thing. So yeah, because of the Miltank, we can hit Miltank for super effectively with Focus Blast that we wouldn't have been able to do it had it been the Thunderbolt. Nature-wise, we are max speed to speed tie at minimum a Jolly Salamence. Now he could bring Scarf Salamence, in which case it would outspeed us, but it kind of deters him and forces him to bring Jolly, because if I bring Scarf Victini and he's adamant I'm Jolly, I'll be able to outspeed him and click the Glaciate. But again, he doesn't know what I might bring. That's the other thing. If you guys are new to this, and obviously this is team builder of exactly what I'm bringing in this game, the game has actually already been played, but the game for this week has already been played, but the game will always be over when this goes up. So there's no, like, you can't snipe my sets off the video. I'm not a retard. So just to clear that up, like I said, max speed to speed tie a Jolly Salamence, and like I said, enough speed to outspeed a max speed Jolly / timid Genesect. And because we're base 100, we do have to hit the even number, so I could not run 248 and outspeed. It would be a speed tie, so I do have to run the 252 max. Now, the special attack is enough to, the 216 special attack is enough to make sure that any variant of Salamence will die to a Glaciate, and then I just dump the remaining 40 in physical attack to make our V-Create as powerful as possible. Now, I think as far as kind of the plan here, it's to get up my Stealth Rocks and then wear down his team to the point where either Kyurem or Victini can blow through it. It's a really straightforward plan. I think as long as I play well, like around the Volcanion and the Venusaur, and as well as and identify Scarfer. That's probably the biggest deal. Identify which of the Scarfers, which of his potential Scarfers is the actual one, especially if he brings multiple ones, and also wear down his walls should he not only have them, but should they become a problem. But other than that, I think we can definitely win this game, and I hope that we do. The battle will be going up the day after this, so this is supposed to go up tomorrow. This is the night before. The team builder will nearly always, unless something comes up, it will always go up Thursday each week, and then the battle will be going up that Friday. Anyway, guys, if you enjoy my analysis, if you guys are excited about the battle, excited about the team, excited about what we might be able to accomplish this season, please leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or any things of that nature, and subscribe if you have not. It really helps out my channel. It helps my channel grow and helps me get recognized in the community and all that crap. So anyway, guys, I'm Stab, and I will see you guys at the battle. Bye.